he's got plenty left. And, you know, a bit of inspiration here. He can still win this match.
Nadal to serve. Thank you.
So the world number 2, Rafael Nadal, to open up the 5th and deciding set. It's a long set, so no tiebreak. No reason for Murray to change his game plan whatsoever.
No, second serves, he's got to go for him when he gets a chance. Not too convinced about that one, though. That was no feet, and that one just sort of dragged it into the bottom of the net.
Found the line again.
Wonderful rally. Again, that mixture of power and finesse.
Done a good job tonight, Murray, of putting Nadal off balance from the return. It's a tough thing to do, but Murray's done it. Nadal there just falling away from the shot. And what a bonus this would be for Murray if he could get a break right at the start of the 5th. Just missed. Oh, it was the right one to go for.
Set that point up so well once again.
Three out of 13 break points converted from Andy Murray tonight. That was mightily close.
Amazing speed for a match that's gone on this long. Just sensed the kill there when he moved in for that volley. After this brilliant backhand, and then the quick acceleration. Volley into the open court. pity. Worked hard to get that break point.
You wonder if these break points that are just being missed or saved by Nadal will just start to create a minor crack in Murray's mental strength. Nadal holds. Once again, escaping a game that featured break points.
Talk about a game of inches. That backhand cross court on break point. Nadal nowhere near that shot.
Gonzalez, as I said earlier, after his match, I said, did he stay up and maybe watch this one? He also said he hoped that they would slug it out for 4 hours and go to 5 sets. He's certainly got his wish. Either man will have a day off, although not really a day off because that day's already started. Will play their quarter-final on Wednesday. Nadal really taking his time on a turnaround that should just be a straight walk. Murray with the new balls. Can Nadal build on his 16th backhand winner of the match? So often he does. Good leave. Nadal there just asking his corner if he should challenge. So coach Tony right on Murray's baseline. Nadal working some angles here.
15-30.
So started the 5th set as normal. You could almost think it's the first, the way Nadal has come out with the intensity at its max. Oh, that's unbelievable defense from Nadal. He was under enormous pressure from Andy Murray in that rally. And then with one shot just turns defence into attack right there. Nadal with his first break point in the 5th. Nadal breaks.
Right on the line. Thunderous forehand.
Again, full of angles from Nadal, full of intensity, of intent from the back of the court. But is it a break too early?
Nadal here onto this in a flash around the outside of the ball. Wonderful passing shot there. Murray getting pumped up. He gets the space to go for the winner. It's just huge forehand. Just lures Nadal into the trap, gives him the opening. And that's a staggering amount of winners against someone with Nadal's speed and defense. What a response.
Murray's just stringing together a series of points here. Quite outstanding. And he's worth these 2 break-back points. Not sure he needed to take that. Do you think?
Yeah, well, the angle we were at, it looked like that was going wide.
Yeah. See Murray saying, was that going wide? And I think it might have been. Not sure we can really tell from that angle, but
well, he's way outside into the tram lines when he hit the volley.
Yeah, that's he's got to forget about it now. 1 break point remains. smart from Nadal. Murray was well behind the baseline.
Good. Short backswing on that backhand. Great rotation with the hips there. Rifles it down the line.
As Murray was screaming out, and Nadal just turned and had a quick look. It's not often that somebody almost outdoes Nadal for the bicep curl and the come on.
What does he have to do to break? Incredible defensive play there from Nadal.
Had to go for it from there, though.
Just
way out of court.
Yeah, Nadal just makes you play one more ball over and over again.
Nadal confirms the break, but it was only just. Murray had 3 break points in there. One of them looked like it was going wide. Nadal with a 3-love lead in this 5th set. He's had his chances tonight, Murray. Just 3 of 17 break points converted.
Well, this 5th set, what a start he could have had if he'd have taken some of the chances. But you know, you've got to hand that 99% of the credit really to Nadal there. From the points he played on some of those break points were just scary. But I think, though, even though he's losing this match 3-love, and I know sometimes he's shouting at Gilbert and stuff, but I think he's loving every minute of this.
Yeah,
I really do. I think Murray is enjoying the challenge of going up against the #2 player in the world, and he knows how well he's playing. And he's down 3-love, but I still think he's enjoying it.
It's why you play the game. I would think it's why you watch the game, for matches like this.
Time.
2 men at 1:30 in the morning, just standing toe to toe. John back in the studio described it as a boxing match at the start, and it's been all that. So you could say we're in the 15th round at the moment, and Nadal's winning on points. It's a must-win service hold now for Murray.
well there. Last one, he almost looked like he was off balance a bit, Murray, but kept his composure.
Here's really where Nadal's intensity is starting to take its toll potentially on Murray. Nadal just keeps coming at you. Point for a double break, and you would think that that would be that. Murray just clinging on.
Nadal not giving away any cheap errors, making Murray earn every single point.
That's right in the corner. Could not have been any finer from Nadal. I'm not sure what Murray's complaining about. And if you are good at lip reading, we apologise. Well, Murray's challenging, it was late, but it did look right in the corner to me on the junction. It is. I apologise to you at home if you have lost pictures. Hopefully we'll get them back as soon as possible. And I believe the pictures are back with you. Murray, the second serve. And Nadal now with a 4-love lead, a double break on the board. And you've got to feel now that Nadal has broken the back of Andy Murray's challenge. Murray not converting 5 break points in the early stages of this final set, and Nadal has taken advantage. Come on, Nadal, try.
It's absolutely brilliant point. And there's got to be about 10 of these type of points that will be at the end of these 2 weeks. Will be in the top 10, 20 points without question. Some of them from this match. It's stunning points.
It's amazing the quality after 3 hours and 41 minutes of play. Nadal edging ever closer to a quarter-final meeting, just one game away now. Could have been oh so different if Murray had converted on at least one of those break points in the early stages of this final set. But that's where you've got to tip your hat to Nadal. He's come up with the goods.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, as you say, could have been a lot closer. Murray had a lot of chances in the fifth, but Nadal, we were talking to Roy Emerson, the great Grand Slam champion. He said that whenever he would get ready for Grand Slams, he would always train so that when he played five-set matches, the fifth set was always his best tennis. That was when physically he was at his best. And even though I think Andy Murray has reacted extremely well, I mean, 3 hours 45 minutes, and he looks like he's still got something left. Nadal, to me, looks like
it's at the start.
He's moving better than he was in the first two games.
Yep.
And that's why, you know, the intimidation factor, when you look across the net and you see this man coming at you and still coming at you after this amount of time, it's a frightening prospect. But for Andy Murray's sake here, got to at least hold this game. You don't want to go out with a 6-love set in the fifth. He deserves more than that.
There's been plenty of support on both sides tonight. Murray serving to stay in the match. Surprised Nadal isn't challenging there. No let-up from Nadal. You wouldn't expect there to be one. He'll try and break here if possible. Every point is like the last point almost for Nadal. Well done. Well, Murray eventually getting his name on the board here in the fifth. But it will be Rafael Nadal who'll serve for the quarterfinals and a face-off against Fernando Gonzalez of Chile. Murray's given it absolutely everything tonight. But this man is made of iron almost. Just wears you down. A resigned looking shot from Murray, that forehand. So often tonight he's hit the winner off that wing and on the backhand. Murray's been so close right the way through this match, even in the fifth set when he had those break points early on. But it's Rafael Nadal, the world number 2, who stands here with 3 match points.
Thank you. Please. Thank you.
finish. What a way to finish for Rafael Nadal.
6-7, 6-4, 4-6, 6-3, 6-1.
He's been in a true battle tonight against Andy Murray. Full respect between both players. Three hours and 52 minutes of just world-class tennis from both men. I've no doubt that Murray will have his day against this man and will have his day in the future. But tonight, it's Nadal's night, and he's through to the quarterfinals.
You could just see the relief there on his face. I mean, this is the last 16. The way he's reacting here, you'd think this was the semi-finals or finals, but it just shows you how close he knows he was to going out tonight. Great round of applause for Andy Murray.
He'll be back. There's no question about that with Andy Murray. He will be back, and he will win and continue to win, I'm sure, on the biggest stages in world tennis.
It was a great tournament for Andy Murray, no question about it. He's shown everybody now what he can do against the #2 in the world, and there were glimpses today where he was absolutely brilliant. Could have been up 2-0, had break points all over the place, didn't convert, but he will get stronger physically and mentally, and watch out for him in the next 2 years.
Well, there are worse ways of spending a dreary, miserable Monday afternoon in January than watching nearly 4 hours of fantastic entertainment like that. And obviously, Andy Castle here in the studio, and bitterly disappointing for Andy Murray. But he will, you know, this sounds terribly British to say this, but he will take such positives from that defeat.
Yeah, he's 19 and a half years old. I mean, he hasn't been out there but 18 months, and suddenly he's playing the only man in the elite that he hasn't played and actually beaten. He's beaten Roddick, he's beaten Hewitt, and Ljubicic, and Davydenko, and even Federer. Nadal was another one of these tests today. He was 2-1 up, and as John Lloyd was saying there, he was a set and 4-1. He had break points in the first 2 Nadal service games in the 5th. So, of course, there's tons of positives to take. But I think just for the moment, just salute Rafael Nadal, who just, you know, blitzed the 5th set. No matter what the situation, he just keeps barreling away, and his spirit is just so hard to play against. And Murray has measured himself against the man, apart from Federer, with the greatest spirit in the game. You know, he slugged it out in the biggest arena, or one of the biggest arenas, so of course he'll take something from it.
And one other thing that often gets overlooked as well, OK, that was a nighttime game, so it wasn't played in the searing heat of the day.
That's right.
The fitness levels required to play at that level are almost beyond belief for, you know, for mere mortals. And the way that Nadal was able to play at that level in the last... I mean, maybe that does owe so much to his Spanish upbringing, which, of course, is where Murray comes in. But phenomenal, the gets that he was making, having been out there for almost 4 hours.
Well, didn't we say at the end of the 4th set, you know, this is the time. You know, the little battles that took place at the beginning of the 5th were, you know, what were going to dictate the rest of the set. Game number 1 and game number 3, Andrew Murray had break points. He had 5 break points and didn't take one of them. If he had, it could have all been very, very different. He went 30-love down in the very first game and came back, had a couple of break points, and Murray missed them. These are small margins. Some of it is the physicality of Rafael Nadal down the other end, and some slight inexperience from Andrew Murray on the big points. But, I mean, talk about a learning curve. You know, Andrew Murray's trajectory has been, you know, not gently going upwards. It's just been extremely steep. To win this was a match too far today, but, you know, credit to him. And actually, I believe what John and Chris were saying. Andrew Murray had a great time today. I don't think he liked the 5th set, naturally, but he had a most enjoyable time, and yeah, it's all positive. I know he lost this one. The bottom line is he won only 4 games in the last 2 sets. Him and Gilbert will have to go and work on that. But this bloke is a pain to play against, no question.
Well, no ball is given up by Nadal. You know, you can move him from one side of the court to the other, to the front of the court, to play it to the back, but ultimately, you know, you've got to win the point because he's not going to give it to you.
Look at the physical nature of some of these players down here. This is what Murray's up against in the future. You know, Tommy Haas, a rejuvenated 29-year-old, awesome talent. Davydenko, an animal from the back of the court. He just doesn't go anywhere. World number 3. Gonzalez beats the ball harder than anybody in the draw, and I mean anybody, even Nadal, who he plays next. you know, these are the people in the bottom half of the draw now, and those are the quarterfinals.
But it's amazing to think, though, that towering above them all
Yes.
these great players, remains Roger Federer, untouchable, you would think, playing Tommy Robredo in one quarter-final, and then Mardy Fish, who's slunk through rather unnoticed, really.
He beat Ljubicic in round one.
Yeah, absolutely, but, you know, against Andy Roddick, and maybe reports of the death of American tennis have been greatly exaggerated.
I think Roddick still represents the great threat, really. I don't think he looks at anybody else particularly. I mean, in the top half, certainly he's the threat, but is it good or bad that Andy Roddick has to play his best friend, Mardy Fish, now? You know, on the one hand, you know, Mardy knows all the strengths and weaknesses of his opponent. On the other hand, he'll be in awe of him. So, anyway, here are the duties.
Yes.
Still being performed by Nadal now.
Yeah.
He'd be well advised to get these things out of the way and go and have a rub down, actually. But maybe this man doesn't get, you know, build-ups of lactic acid like mere mortals.
I got him to sign a programme at Wimbledon last year.
That's
Nadal,
worth a bob or two,
and yeah, well, I know. I showed it to some friends, and I said, "Who signed this?" Impossible to know.
And
It is
his
utterly indecipherable. So, you know, you can go home and say anybody signed it and you'd be none the wiser.
I think I know what the problem is. I think he's signing right-handed, and I'm pretty sure he wields his axe with a left hand.
Ah, good point. Mind you, I have to say, he did throw those wristbands into the crowd, you know, right-handed. And it was pretty handed, as though he was throwing the ball in from the deep, so he's probably ambidextrous as much as makes no difference.
That would explain that backhand, which was the final sort of salvo thrown at Andrew Murray today, where he hooked it back down the line on the backhand side. His backhand is much stronger than it was a year ago. He's still improving. He's only 20 years old. Talk about Murray.
Talk about Murray. During the course of the whole match today, you know, we had plenty of time to sit here and chat.
We've been having a good chat.
We were talking about the way that Murray will or will not be embraced by the British public in the way that Henman was. What's your take on that at the moment?
I don't think we know who Andrew Murray is yet. He hasn't shared a great deal with us. He doesn't do interviews that are particularly articulate at the moment. He just, you know, there's a few grunts here and there, and, you know, one or two thoughts that he might give about the press. That was a year ago. He was falling out with them. I mean, I think he's quite suspicious, quite nervous of speaking publicly. I don't think it comes naturally to him just now. But you see, matches like this being broadcast on a terrestrial channel, you know, it helps to bring him to a wide audience. We've seen him at Wimbledon a couple of times, and the crowd has responded wonderfully. But we're still getting to know him, and he is going to be around for a long time. A few more matches like that where he shows his heart. All he's got to do is smile once or twice, and the wider public are going to know who he is, and they will love him for it.
Because the one thing he mustn't do, though, is sort of take the eye off the ball and get distracted by outside potential opportunities. You know, he's got to win tennis matches. You know, he doesn't want to become a kind of a male Kornikova, if you like.
But you know what? His ranking 18 months ago, when he was a boy, he should have still been at school, for goodness sake. His ranking was 1,000 and nowhere. He's arrived on the scene and has just, you know, he's just shot up. I mean, 15, 16 in the world.
Well, you only had to look at Rafael Nadal's reaction at the end to know that that was a big win for him. Irrespective of the fact that it was a big defeat for Murray, it was a big win for Nadal.
Couldn't have imagined it, even sort of 16, 18 months ago when he arrived. We saw him first at Queen's Club. He beat Ventura, and I think who was the other one? Taylor Dent he beat as well. And we were thinking these are big wins. He's a promising player, and suddenly he's sharing this huge arena with Rafael Nadal. Well, there's that backhand again. He's got great defensive capability on that backhand side. I mean, what do Brad Gilbert and Andrew Murray now talk about when they go away and try and make up a game plan for Rafael Nadal? I mean, there's 3 or 4 things. You know, you're going to have to serve like you did in the sets that you won, and I think the game plan was perfect, and he just wasn't quite able to execute it. Messing about with the ball, throwing in the drop shot. I've never seen Andrew Murray play better. Nadal's just got too much spirit right now and too much physicality.
The one thing we didn't mention, just quickly as well, 4-1 up in the second set. For people, I'm sure people picked up that match late in the day because obviously it went on so long. 4-1 up in the second set, and Murray seemed to be in complete control of the game. Well, it didn't seem to be, was in complete control of the game.
But you never are against a world-class
And then he seemed to get a stitch or something wrong with his side.
Yeah.
How much do you think was that was psychosomatic, and how much did that influence the absolute outcome?
Well, where is it now?
Well,
you know, you see, we can get into psycho-babble. I mean, we're around sports people quite a lot, and there's an awful lot of psycho-babble around there. One moment you're feeling bad and your body is down, the next you're up. It's a part of the physical endeavour that is professional sport. You know, he started hurting when he started losing, and when he started winning, he felt better. So, you know, you tell me whether it's psychosomatic or not. He might have had a little tear and perhaps adrenaline and going into a little bit of shock. That area goes into a little, and it protects it because he's so excited and adrenalized. There's many sporting stories where, you know, people broken necks have played FA Cup finals, you know, so that's possible. But, you know, there are no excuses, and I hope Andrew, you know, doesn't make any for that. I think he should just be very proud of that performance.
And is Nadal the man that Federer needs to fear the most?
They're going to wake up all that lot, Gonzalez, Roddick, particularly Federer in the top half, and they're going to go, shame Andrew Murray didn't win that, because they still rather play Andrew than Rafael Nadal. I see him in the final for sure.
OK, well, who's going to be in the women's final? They've been getting closer and closer to that today, with a few results that have seen Sharapova against Chakvetadze in one quarter-final. That's an all-Russian affair. Clijsters against Hingis. This is definitely Clijsters' last throw of the dice, because she's retiring at the end of this year, and who knows how many more years Martina Hingis has got in her. And then at the bottom half of the draw, Serena Williams, back from who knows where, against Miss Pierre from Israel, and then Vaidasova against Safarova, the two Czechs. Who do you see coming through there?
Well, Serena Williams I see coming through that particular bit, largely because there's 2 or 3 girls there that I don't know as much about as perhaps I ought to. But I'm thinking about the Clijsters-Hingis match. I think that's the match that you should sort of try and record if it's on in the middle of the night. I think that's lovely. It's a shame Kim Clijsters is disappearing from the game. She has been such a bonus. And do
you not have a feeling, though, that she might actually sort of change her mind when push comes to shove?
No, I think this is it for her. I think that, you know, it's enough. I mean, look, it's not a natural life out there. And when you're 24, 25, 26 years old, you know, these girls have been out there since they were 15 or 16, so they've had a good decade out there, and it's, you know, it's not much of a life. You get paid very well, it can be very exciting, but normality beckons for people like Kim. She's a very well-adjusted girl.
But Martina Hingis couldn't walk away. He had to come back.
I know, she had to come back, and now she's engaged to Radek Stepanek. So, you know, it's a very busy life for me. I love watching Martina Hingis play, always have done. She's got like a nothing serve, but the rest of her game is just, you know, it's educated. It's just like, it's like Andrew Murray's. She can do anything with the ball and with the opponent as well. Lovely to watch.
Well, you can watch the next sort of 4 or 5 days' worth of the Australian Open on our interactive service. But as far as BBC One and BBC Two coverage is concerned, the women's final is live on Saturday morning at 2:20 in the morning. And obviously highlights of that in Grandstand on Saturday afternoon. And then the men's final is live on Sunday morning, 8:25, BBC Two. Will that be Federer and Nadal, or will somebody else sneak in on the blind side? Anyway, make that's what a great way to start a Sunday morning, by watching the final of the men's Australian Open. And so, final thoughts on Andrew Murray. Overall, it's been a pretty handy tournament for him.
It's just further proof, really, that he is going to be at the very top of the game. He was challenged the other day about whether he was in the elite of the game, and he was quite offended by being challenged in a press conference. He said, "What, I'm not in the elite already?" It's just further proof that he is. This is his 3rd Grand Slam in a row where he's made the 4th round. Wimbledon, the US last year, and now this. He has arrived at a certain point. He'll probably kick on this year even further. Tremendously encouraging.
So is it just a matter of time? It's tempting fate, and appallingly, isn't it?
Bit of luck as well. He's got at least as good a chance of Henman and Rosetsky of winning a slam.
OK, well, we all seem to be of an opinion. Let's hope we're all right. Thanks for watching. I hope you know, you haven't had to put too many things on hold to enjoy that match. Disappointing for Murray. Not today, but one day, surely. See you soon. Bye-bye.